The contempt in the customer's eyes was as palpable as the aroma of roasted coffee in the elegant rosewood bistro. Sitting alone at a corner table, a girl of about 9 years old felt around the table for the Braille menu that should have been there but wasn't. Her eyes, permanently covered by discreet sunglasses, did not reveal the growing fear in her heart as she whispered repeatedly, "Mommy, come back soon. Mommy, come back soon." Maya Chun watched the scene as she cleaned the counter. The 24-year-old waitress knew this type of situation all too well, privileged people who simply forgot their responsibilities for too long. There was something different about this girl, though. Her straight posture and impeccable clothes contrasted with a subtle tremor in her delicate hands. "Has anyone taken care of table 12? Maya asked Kevin, the manager who was furiously typing on his cell phone. "VIP customer waiting for Mrs. Sterling to return," he replied without looking up. "She's unbearably picky about who serves her daughter." Mrs. Sterling. Catherine Sterling, CEO of Sterling Dynamics, whose face graced the covers of business magazines and whose perfectionism was legendary in the corporate world. No one crossed Catherine Sterling and kept their job. "It's been 3 hours, Maya insisted. The girl looked scared. Kevin finally looked up, irritation evident. "Maya, do I really need to remind you that you're on probation? Don't make my life difficult." At that moment, the girl accidentally knocked over the flower arrangement on the table. Water splashed everywhere, soaking her pink dress. Her lips trembled as she desperately tried to clean up the mess with napkins, unable to see what she was doing. Maya didn't hesitate. Ignoring Kevin, she crossed the hall with determined steps, feeling the stares of the other customers piercing her back. "Hi, sweetie," she said softly, kneeling down beside the girl. "I'm here to help. My name is Maya." The girl froze. "Where's my mom?" "She's not back yet. I'm a waitress here. Can I help you clean that up and maybe get you something while you wait?" The tension in the girl's shoulders relaxed slightly. "I'm Emma. I spilled the flowers. Mom's going to be mad." Maya quickly soaked up the water with a cloth. "Accidents happen. You can't even see the stain anymore. It's all clean." Emma replied with a shy smile. "I can't see it, but I know when adults lie to make me feel better." Maya laughed, surprised by the clever girl's insight. "Smart girl. Okay, there's a small stain, but nothing serious. Are you hungry?" Emma hesitated. "Mom said not to ask for anything until she gets back." "And when did she leave?" When the clock struck 2, Maya glanced at the clock. It was almost 5:30. Indignation rose in her chest. 3.5 hours. "How about some hot chocolate while you wait? I promise I won't tell." The smile that lit up Emma's face was worth any risk. Maya brought not only hot chocolate, but also a turkey sandwich and oatmeal cookies. She explained where each item was, sitting down at the table and gently guiding the girl's hands. "You describe things differently," Emma commented between bites. "The others talk as if I'm stupid." "My younger brother lost his sight when he was 6, Maya explained. "I know how important it is to be treated like a person, not like a disability." For 15 minutes, Maya sat with Emma, listening to her favorite books in Braille and her passion for the violin. The girl was completely transformed, from scared and lonely to excited and bright. What neither of them noticed was the black Tesla that had pulled up in front of the bistro. Catherine Sterling, CEO of Sterling Dynamics and one of the most powerful women in the country, watched the scene through the window with an enigmatic expression. Her calculating eyes didn't miss a single detail of the interaction between the waitress and her daughter. "Ma'am," her driver asked, "would you like me to accompany you?" "No. Wait here," she ordered, her eyes fixed on the waitress who was now making Emma laugh with a funny story. When Catherine finally entered the bistro, Kevin practically ran toward her, apologies pouring from his mouth. She ignored him completely and walked straight to the table where Maya was now saying goodbye to Emma. "Maya Chun, right?" Catherine asked in a cold, controlled voice. Maya's blood ran cold. How did this woman know her name? "Yes, ma'am." "I see you took the liberty of feeding my daughter." "Mommy!" Emma exclaimed. Maya was so nice. She told me about constellations that we can feel instead of see. Catherine looked at the empty plate, the hot chocolate, the half-eaten cookies. Her face revealed nothing. "How much do I owe you for the meal?" she asked, opening her designer purse. "Nothing," Maya replied, her voice firm. It was on the house. A tense silence fell over the bistro. The entire place seemed to hold its breath. "It's okay," Catherine finally said, taking Emma's hand. "Let's go, sweetie." As they left, Maya heard Emma ask, "Can we come back tomorrow?" Maya promised to teach me the difference between cappuccino and latte by smell. Kevin approached immediately. "In my office. Now." Maya knew she had just lost her job. What she didn't know was that outside, Catherine Sterling was typing a message to her personal assistant, "I want everything on Maya Chun by tomorrow morning." In the world of the rich and powerful, everything meant exactly that, every detail, every unfulfilled dream, every silent struggle. And Catherine Sterling always got what she wanted. If this story about unexpected kindness and encounters that change destinies touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to find out how a simple gesture of compassion can trigger a storm of change in the lives of people who never imagined their paths would cross. Rain pounded the window of Maya's small apartment as she stared at her resignation letter from Rosewood Bistro. Next to it, an eviction notice and overdue bills completed the grim picture. The phone rang. It was Alex, her 15-year-old brother, blind since the age of 6 due to poorly treated meningitis. "Don't give up," his voice sounded comforting. "You always said that everything happens for a reason." "I lost my job for helping a child, Alex. What reason could there be in that?" The intercom interrupted her. A professional, cold voice announced, "Miss Chun, this is Margaret Walsh, Executive Assistant to Sterling Dynamics. Mrs. Sterling requests your presence for a meeting at 10 a.m. 45 minutes later, Maya walked through the imposing lobby of Sterling Dynamics in her best thrift store dress. The contrast between her and the executives in expensive suits was striking. On the 52nd floor, in a conference room with a panoramic view, Catherine Sterling surveyed the city like a queen contemplating her kingdom. Without turning, she gestured toward a chair. "Yesterday you served my daughter when I specifically asked no one to do so," Catherine began, her voice calculatedly neutral. "She was hungry," Maya replied simply. Catherine finally turned to face her. "Do you know why I left Emma alone for nearly 4 hours?" The question took Maya by surprise. "No, ma'am." "To see who would notice. A social experiment." Maya felt indignation rising. "You tested people using your own daughter?" A slight smile crossed Catherine's face. Emma knew it was a game. "We do this periodically." Margaret placed a folder in front of Maya. Inside was a severance check with more zeros than Maya had ever seen. "I'm not for sale," Maya pushed the folder back. Catherine raised an eyebrow, genuinely surprised. "Everyone has a price." "Not me. And using your blind daughter as bait to test people's humanity is disgusting." A tense silence filled the room. Margaret looked like she was about to faint. No one spoke to Catherine Sterling like that. "Interesting," Catherine finally replied. "Emma asked about you. She doesn't do that. Ever." For the first time, Maya glimpsed something beyond the cold mask, a genuinely intrigued mother. "I have a different proposal," Catherine slid another folder across the table. "Emma needs a companion. The salary is significant." The amount mentioned made Maya's heart race, 15 times what she earned at the bistro. "Why me?" she asked suspiciously. "My daughter has perfect pitch for insincerity. You're authentic." Catherine gestured, and Margaret presented another folder. "Your background is impressive. You dropped out of college to take care of your brother. 2 jobs to keep him in a specialized school." Maya felt a chill. "How did you get this information?" Catherine ignored the question. "I have resources. I know your brother is a prodigious violinist. Berklee School of Music would be perfect for him. The most prestigious music school in the country, and absolutely out of reach for someone like Alex." "This is emotional blackmail," Maya said, controlling her anger. "This is business," Catherine corrected. "I'm offering opportunities for both of you." On the way back, Maya received a call from Berklee. They wanted to schedule an audition for Alex. Catherine wasted no time. That night, Maya researched Catherine Sterling obsessively, discovering disturbing patterns. Former employees who disappeared professionally, rivals facing coincidental scandals, a former nanny who sued Catherine for harassment only to mysteriously drop the case. But then Maya found something else. News about the accident that blinded Emma 4 years earlier. Catherine had been driving, possibly distracted by text messages. Afterward, the story simply disappeared from the media. The next day, when Alex played the violin at Berkeley, bringing tears to his teacher's eyes, Maya made her decision. She would enter the world of Catherine Sterling, not just for her brother, but also for Emma, a brilliant girl trapped in a gilded cage with a mother who used her as a pawn in power games. What Catherine didn't realize was that Maya wasn't just a desperate waitress. She was a woman who had spent years studying human behavior before abandoning psychology, someone trained to see beyond the masks. As she signed the contract in Catherine's office with a polite smile, Maya was already formulating her own plan. Because if the powerful Catherine Sterling believed she could buy and control her, she was about to learn an important lesson: not everyone has a price, and underestimating ordinary people can be the biggest mistake someone with unlimited power can make. What Catherine couldn't imagine was that by opening the doors of her empire to Maya, she was allowing a true expert in people to cross her path. And as the days passed, the carefully buried secrets of the Sterling family would begin to emerge from the shadows, and the balance of power between them would shift in ways the billionaire could never anticipate. 4 months had passed since Maya entered the Sterling family's life. The once intimidating mansion in Beverly Hills now felt almost familiar. Emma was blossoming under her care, revealing an intelligence and curiosity that had been stifled by years of overprotection. "The stars must be like music we can't hear," Emma explained as her fingers traced a Braille astronomy book. "We feel they're there, even when we can't see them." Catherine watched from afar, her gaze inscrutable. "Emma has never talked so much," she commented later. "What did you do that was so special?" "Nothing special," Maya replied. "I just treat her like a person, not like a disability." The next morning, while organizing Emma's books, Maya found a box hidden in the back of the closet. Inside was a diary and a flash drive. "It's Mom's diary," Emma explained when she felt Maya freeze. "Michael helped me hide it." Michael Sterling, Catherine's brother, was rarely mentioned in that house. That night, after Emma fell asleep, Maya inserted the flash drive into her laptop. The contents left her stunned. Photos of Catherine smiling, something Maya had never witnessed. Videos of Emma with her vision still intact. And headlines that never made it to the newspapers. Sterling Dynamics CEO investigated for driving under the influence. Catherine Sterling's daughter may lose her vision permanently. An email from Michael to Catherine, dated a week after the accident, confirmed the worst. The lawyers managed to suppress the story. The judge sealed the records. The driver of the other car accepted the settlement. Emma deserves to know the truth someday. Catherine hadn't just caused the accident, she had used her power and money to cover it up. The next morning, Catherine announced, "I have a meeting with the Foundation for Visually Impaired Children. Emma is coming with me." Something in her voice alerted Maya. After a quick search, she discovered that no such meeting had been scheduled. On instinct, she placed a small tracking device in Emma's backpack. 3 hours later, the tracker showed a remote location 150 kilometers from the city. Maya called her only possible ally, Michael Sterling. "Catherine has been taking Emma for experimental treatments for 4 years, Michael revealed when she found him. Procedures that could restore some of her vision." "Why?" Maya asked, horrified. "Control. Guilt. Catherine believes that if Emma regains her sight, she will see her mother for who she really is, the person responsible for her blindness." The GPS guided them to an isolated clinic. Through the window, they saw Catherine arguing heatedly with a doctor while Emma waited, confused, in an examination room. "She repeats the tests twice a year to ensure Emma remains blind," Michael explained. "She hires specialists to confirm there's no hope, even when there is." Emma turned her head toward the window, as if she could sense their presence. "Enough," Maya declared, determined. "Emma deserves the truth." When they entered, Catherine paled. "What are you doing here?" "It's over, Catherine," Michael said, holding out a folder. "I have copies of everything. The accident, the cover-up, the denied treatments." "You don't understand," Catherine whispered, desperation in her voice. "I can't lose her." "She already knows," Maya interrupted, pointing to Emma, who was approaching silently. "I always knew, Mom," Emma said, her voice low but firm. "I heard you crying every night. What I never understood was why you didn't let me try to see again. Catherine fell to her knees. Emma, Mom, Emma touched her mother's face, tracing her tears. I wouldn't hate you for the truth. I hate you for the lies. It was as if a house of cards had collapsed. The powerful Catherine Sterling, reduced to a woman broken by guilt and fear. The doctor approached hesitantly. Miss Emma, the new treatment has a 70% chance of partial vision recovery. Your mother has refused it for 4 consecutive years. Emma turned to Maya, seeking her hand. What would you do? It doesn't matter what I would do, Maya replied, holding the girl's hand. What matters is what you want. Catherine watched, transfigured by shock, as her daughter finally made a decision that should have been hers long ago. The empire built on control began to crumble, not from public exposure, but from the simple power of truth between mother and daughter. What made the moment even more extraordinary was how the roles had been reversed. Catherine Sterling, the woman who controlled fortunes and destinies with a simple phone call, now watched helplessly as a waitress she tried to buy and a child she tried to protect through lies completely redrew the future of the Sterling family. I want to try the treatment, Emma finally declared, her voice stronger than ever. And I want Maya to be with me throughout the entire process. Catherine's eyes, always calculating and cold, now overflowed with something no one in the room had ever seen before, genuine vulnerability. And as she silently nodded to her daughter's decision, something fundamental began to change in their relationship. What no one could have predicted at that moment was that the real miracle would not only be the possible recovery of Emma's sight, but the painful and necessary beginning of healing for a family torn apart by secrets and guilt. For Catherine Sterling, the hardest lesson was just beginning. Sometimes salvation comes from the very people we think we can manipulate. 8 months passed. Autumn covered the garden of Sterling Manor with golden leaves as Emma, wearing special therapeutic glasses, pointed excitedly at the nearest tree. I can see the outline. It's brown and gold at the same time, she exclaimed, her voice overflowing with joy. The experimental treatment was a partial success. Emma had not regained her sight completely, but she could now distinguish shadows, outlines, and on good days, some basic colors. For someone who had lived in darkness for 4 years, it was like rediscovering the whole world. Watching the scene from the balcony, Catherine held a cup of tea with slightly trembling hands. Her corporate empire remained intact, but something fundamental had changed within her. The fall had not been public or financial, it had been personal and deeply necessary. It's still hard for her, Michael commented, sitting next to his sister. Seeing Emma get better means confronting what she did. And what I didn't do, Catherine added, her voice devoid of its usual coldness. 4 years lost to fear and guilt. Michael smiled softly. But not 8, or 10, or a lifetime. You finally stopped running. At Sterling Dynamics, the changes were visible to everyone. The relentless CEO now left promptly at 4 p.m. to attend Emma's therapy sessions. The Sterling Foundation for Visually Impaired Children, once a mere public relations front, had become a true priority, funding innovative research and affordable treatments. Maya watched these transformations with cautious optimism. She continued to work as Emma's companion, but now she also coordinated the Foundation's social programs. Her brother Alex dazzled audiences at Berkeley, his talent finally finding the stage it deserved. Did you know this would happen? Catherine asked one afternoon as they watched Emma and Alex play piano together. I knew she could get better. That I could change. Maya thought for a moment. I knew Emma, she deserved a chance. As for you, let's just say I bet on the possibility. Catherine nodded, understanding. You know what scares me the most? It's not the idea of Emma blaming me for the accident. It's realizing how much time I spend trying to control everything and everyone, when the only real control we have is over our own choices. That evening, Catherine called Maya into her office. She placed a set of documents on the desk. I want you to run the foundation, she announced without preamble. Not as an employee, but as a partner. Maya examined the papers, stunned. Catherine was offering her 45% of the foundation, complete autonomy, and a budget that could help thousands of children. Why? Maya asked, still suspicious after months of psychological games. Because you saw my daughter when I only saw her disability, Catherine replied simply. Because you saw the truth where I only saw control. And because the foundation needs someone who understands that compassion cannot be bought. There was sincerity in the eyes of the woman who, just 8 months earlier, believed that everything and everyone had a price. On Emma's birthday, Sterling Manor welcomed guests for the first time in years. Not executives or politicians, but children from the foundation and their families. In the center of the garden, Emma, now wearing glasses that allowed her to distinguish basic shapes and colors, proudly presented an exhibition of tactile sculptures she had created, art to see with your hands. As she explained her art to the fascinated visitors, Michael asked Maya, "Any regrets about joining this crazy family?" Maya smiled, watching Catherine interact with the families without a trace of her former condescension. Not for a second. A child approached, asking Catherine if she was blind too, confused to see her with Emma. "No, sweetie," Catherine replied, kneeling down to the girl's level. "But I used to be, in a way. My daughter and a very special friend taught me how to see." Later, when everyone had left, Emma gave Catherine a gift, a small painting she had made by mixing textures and the few colors she could distinguish. "To remind you that sometimes we have to lose something to truly appreciate what we have," she explained. Catherine Sterling, the woman who thought she could control destinies, had learned the most valuable lesson of her life from a waitress who refused to be priced and a daughter brave enough to choose the truth, even when it was painful. 2 years after that fateful encounter at Rosewood Bistro, the Sterling Foundation had become a national model for inclusion programs. Maya, now executive director, oversaw initiatives that helped thousands of families. Alex had won his first National Violin Award, and Emma was preparing to attend a regular school for the first time. But perhaps the greatest transformation had been in Catherine herself. During a televised interview on business leadership, when asked about the secret to her recent change in perspective, she replied, "I used to believe that power meant controlling outcomes. I've learned that true power is creating the conditions for other people to flourish, especially those whom society has taught you to ignore." The journalist pressed, "But what specifically caused this change?" Catherine smiled, a genuine smile that now came easily. "A 24-year-old waitress taught me that sometimes the wisest people are those who have never had the luxury of stopping caring about others. And my daughter reminded me that real courage isn't about avoiding consequences, but about facing the truth when it's inconvenient." That evening, in the mansion's garden, Emma played the violin while Maya and Catherine watched. The girl could now see well enough to move independently, her special glasses allowing her to live an almost normal life. "You know she'll forgive me completely someday," Catherine said softly. "She already has," Maya replied. "What you're waiting for is to forgive yourself." Catherine nodded, silent tears streaming down her face. "Maya, can I ask you a question I've always wanted to ask?" "Of course." "That first day when you saw Emma alone, what really went through your mind?" Maya thought for a moment. "Honestly, I thought about Alex. About how he would feel being ignored and scared in a strange place. But mostly, I thought that it didn't matter who her mother was or how much money they had, she was a child who needed someone." "And when you found out I caused the accident?" "I was furious," Maya admitted. "But then I realized you weren't a monster. You were a broken person making terrible choices because of guilt. And broken people can be healed, if they're willing." Catherine took Maya's hand. "Thank you for seeing something in me that I couldn't see myself." Emma stopped playing and turned toward them. "Are you two having a moment?" The two women laughed. "Maybe a little," Catherine admitted. "Good," Emma said with wisdom beyond her years. "You both needed that." As the stars appeared in the Los Angeles sky, 3 deeply interconnected lives contemplated the future. Maya had discovered that changing lives didn't require power or money, just the courage to stay true to your values when everyone around you was for sale. Catherine learned that true legacy isn't in the empire we build, but in the people we touch and the opportunities we create for others to flourish. And Emma, with her precocious wisdom and generous heart, became the bridge that allowed 2 women from different worlds to find a common humanity. Her empire remained, but its foundations were completely transformed. The Rosewood Bistro now exclusively employs people in career transition, offering training and opportunities for growth. The Sterling Foundation expanded into education, housing, and mentoring programs for vulnerable youth. Sometimes, the simple act of seeing people as they truly are, beyond their shortcomings, social status, or past mistakes, is the first step toward transforming not just one life, but entire generations. If this story of redemption and transformation touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more stories that show how small acts of kindness can spark profound change. Comment below, have you ever witnessed how a simple act of compassion completely changed the course of a life? Sometimes, all we need to start over is someone who sees beyond our flaws and reminds us that our story is not over yet.